Huh. I had to go feed my dogs. I forgot to feed my dogs. They would not let us do this. I hadn't fed them. All right. Go. Using sound to eliminate obstacles and opening the way to freedom. Before we begin, let's see if anybody's joined us. I see Rhonda has joined us. Wonderful. Thank you, Rhonda. Can you hear me all right and see the images on the screen? I think you can just speak out. I don't have you muted. Looks like you're just calling in, so you cannot see this screen, but I think you can *6 talk or *2. I don't know. Okay. Well, we will go forward and pray that she can hear, even if she can't see the images. So I welcome you to our wonderful guest who has been here for just about every one of these sessions, Basu Rhonda, and to all of you who are joining in on the replays. I hear from you that you do watch the replays. I know this is a long time commitment, and it's very challenging to get the replays uploaded. I think I'm behind on 3 of them. Usually my internet signal dies before it's fully uploaded, and then just start all over again. So I apologize for that, but they will be up very soon. All right, so let's move forward. We are here for the Kimatones Self-Care Weekly Webinar Series, and we are focusing on the 10 Sankofa Steps to Healing from Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome as presented by Dr. Joy DeGruy. And in this image here, we have 2 birds who have obviously found a way to free themselves from the cage. And this series is a way to find out what did they sing or what sound did they make to release themselves from the cage. Because there's nobody around, like some farmer or somebody that opened the cage. So they were obviously able to open it themselves. So that's the idea with this series. Sankofa step number 5 is build esteem, healthy and accurate. Now, last week we had our regular protocol where we have the horoscopes reading, and then we talk about the Neteru, and we have some chanting associated with the cosmic forces, and then we go through the self-care, and people didn't have any questions, and then we had a meditation. And tonight I just wanted to continue a little bit more, I guess it's my commentary, and if anybody wants to participate, about how that planetary alignment last week boosted my esteem, like to the nth degree, and the things that I saw in the news this week. So that's why I decided to repeat or continue the discussion with Sankofa step number 5, build esteem, healthy and accurate. And we are talking about using kimatones and applying these protocols for dealing with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, to post-traumatic slave syndrome. Again, this is a book written by Dr. Joy DeGruy, and we're using her study guide as the foundation for this webinar series. And in the intro to this series, we went over all 10 Sankofa steps, and then each week or every other week or what have you, we're going through the protocol for that particular step. And I have a feeling that when the series is over, I'm going to branch off into other topics of self-care, and then maybe in a few months or in another year, we'll continue to revisit these steps, because I don't think this is something that you just do once and then you're done. Because, like I say, I think the focus on this particular process, combined with my own spiritual practice and reflections, has really I can feel some sort of shift. And my name is Tachia. I met Elma Ott, SE, which stands for Self-Educated. Here's a picture of me when I was 6 years old. And obviously we were on our way to the St. Edmund's Parochial School gym night because I have on my white bows and a white t-shirt. I have on white shorts, white socks, and white tennis shoes. I'm right there. Anyway, I am a cultural astronomer, cosmic sound healer, musician, Kemetic priestess, and organic gardener, among many other things. And I at one time was a graduate student in astronomy at the UT Austin. I have a degree in physics from Oberlin College. And Chemitones has provided a way for me to combine all three of my passions: music, sound, healing, and astrology. And so that's who I am. Chemitones is a system of healing that uses acutonics tuning forks. Acutonics is similar to acupuncture, only instead of needles, we use sound. We use tuning forks that are tuned to the different planetary frequencies. And at Chemitones, we take this practice one step farther because we apply the corresponding Neteru, Orisha, different indigenous archetypes, and different to the different cosmic forces that they represent, that the planets represent and symbolize. So, for instance, when you use the tuning fork for Jupiter, you are invoking the cosmic force of the ancestor of Amun. And when you use the solar fork, you are calling on the cosmic force known as Ra, and so on and so forth. Hedoscopes is a 13-month sidereal Kemetic astrology system that I developed. Again, we take the 13-month sidereal astrology system, which is based on the movements of the sun and the planets through the constellations, based on their actual motions that are calculated by NASA. And then we take the Greek system to its root, to its foundation, to where it originated, which is in Kemet. And so we use the Kemet planetary and constellation names and symbols, and of course the cosmic forces that are related to them. So we combine hedoscopes and chemitones to get a very unusual sound healing treatment. There's nowhere else on earth where you can get the kind of healing you get at chemitones, not in this point in time. There are 3 other chemitones practitioners, and there are 4 cosmic sound healing practitioners, which was leading up to chemitones. But other than that, it's just not happening. Now this is the Hedoscopes chart for last week, where you can see we had Set, or Mars in Scorpio, which is its sign of exaltation, and the Sun had recently moved from Aries into Taurus. And if you look at this line, they were completely opposite of each other. And we went into this in detail in the session last week. And lots of things in my life felt like a collision. And then all this week, I've had to deal with the after effects of the collision. And it was just very intense. And then all of the people that I know, well, not all the people I know, people that I spoke to had similar confrontations, relationships ending or changing, or people speaking their minds after having been silent for so long. And if you recall, when we do these post-traumatic slave syndrome sessions, we're not just healing ourselves. We're doing this healing work for our families, our neighborhoods, our communities, our nation, and the entire planet. And so the idea is if each one of us does this healing work in our own life, we're going to see an after effects or a ripple effects or a shock in other areas. And maybe it's just because I put my focus on this And that's why it was brought to my attention. You know, I don't know. I know that there's a connection between the planetary alignments that we discussed last week and some of the events that happened since we were together. Now, this is a picture of me. Things got so intense for me the day after our session that my king man suggested I light a bonfire to purify the energy that was with me. And so here's a picture of me right at sundown. I had this huge brush fire. I burnt the fire, I burnt the bonfire, and the next day, bam, the energy shifted. Everything shifted in my favor, and, you know, I was in control of what was going on. Things weren't happening to me. They were happening for me. And I can't recall when I have felt so empowered. That's why when I posted about the fire, I said I suggest everyone does the same. Now, fortunately for us, this week, things have shifted some more. And now we have Venus and the Sun in the sign of Taurus, or that's Het Heru and Ra in the sign of Taurus. And fortunately for us, Mars has shifted from Scorpio and is now in sidereal Libra, or Ma'at. Now, I don't have the little slides prepared, but I will put the camera on so we can have some energy. Where's the camera? There we go. Okay, so like I said, if I can get this to move over. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Let me make sure you can see the camera. Good. Okay. Okay. So, as I said before, now we have Het Heru and Ra in the sign of Apis. Now, last week I talked about how Apis, or Taurus, represents the pole of, what's that word? Fecundation? I don't know what the word is, but fertility and nurturing and abundance and prosperity and strength and power, protection, lots of good, nurturing, earthy elements, aspects of life. And we are so blessed now that Het Heru and Ra are both in this sign, because if you go back to the myth or the legend, Ra sent Het Heru down to the earth to deal with the people that had, gone ignorant or unrighteous. And she came in the form of Sekhmet, and the lion goddess, the lioness, and she got carried away with her power and got greedy and started killing the innocent people. And then Ra had to send Jehuti down. Jehuti, the sign of Mercury, is still in Aries, to tell her some myths to wake her up so she'd come back to who she really is. And, you know, she'd already taken care of all the unrighteousness, so it was time for her to go home and reclaim her position as the daughter of Ra. So for a while they were separated, and she was still in the sign of Aries, and now they're both in this wonderful sign of abundance and prosperity and health and vitality. And over here, we're so fortunate now because Mars has shifted into Libra, which is the sign of Ma'at. So now Set, instead of feeding the ego, now Set is protecting Ma'at. Now Set is upholding Ma'at. Now Set is defending Ma'at. Now Set is, ready to kill, to protect and defend Ma'at, which is the cosmic force of balance, truth, order, justice, harmony, reciprocity, righteousness. Okay? So we have this wonderful alignment right now. And then Moon, or Shisheta, just deals with building a strong personality and character, is in the sign of Sagittarius, or Picot Maier. And those are the only planetary shifts that I'm going to talk about right now. Everything else is still pretty much, on the same plate. So this is very fascinating to me. I don't know about any of you, but this is really like one of my favorite things to talk about. So before we move to the next slide, I would like to, let's see, what is the next slide? Oh, okay, yeah. I just have the imagery of Ra, or the sun, and Apis, the bull. Remember, visualize yourself seated on the bull. And we'll walk somewhere with that tonight. I can remember. Like I said, everything is spontaneous. I don't know what the meditation is going to be until it actually happens, which is kind of exciting to me. Okay. And then there's the Kemetic version of Apis. All right, so, yeah. So I would like to switch over to some of these current events that I've been talking about. In fact, I have to admit that one of them was so profound for me that I posted a very, I suppose someone would say angry post, but I was really just expressing myself. And it's a video, I'll post it again without so much anger, about a scene in history, and this was a particular tribe in South America when the Europeans came, and how they were treated and how they responded. And I quoted what one of the priests had said in the movie, and then I talked about how it made me feel. But I've noticed this week, make sure this is showing up. I'm on my Facebook page, yeah. I noticed this week a lot of posts about indigenous people rising up against their oppressor. And it was like so many that it caused me to take notice. And I feel that, you know, when that sun and that Mars were hitting opposites and I was feeling it in my life, indigenous people around the world were feeling it. And that's what my prayers are. That's why I'm doing this work. So you could say, oh, it's just a coincidence, yada, yada, yada. There's no coincidence. Everything happens for a reason. This is my intention. And I have complete confidence and faith in the work of Dr. Bedruri and in acutonics. And I have complete trust in my higher self and in kindred tones. And so my goal is to get more and more people, you know, going through this process. So here we have, and I wasn't aware, I mean, I'm aware of the terrible situation with the petrochemical situation in Nigeria. You know, I'm aware of that. But what I was not aware of, let's see if I can find it quickly. So it looks like all of those posts have been removed. Actually, no, I don't want to believe that. No, here we go. Okay. They had to throw something nice in there. Okay, yes. So here in Nigeria, we have the indigenous people of Nigeria rising up against the corrupt Nigerian corporation. They are ready to succeed, and they're ready to go to civil war. They say, give us freedom. They are tired of Nigeria. Okay, that caught my attention. They already have their own currency in place because the Nigerian currency is falling apart. And then here we have one of the indigenous leaders. He's in prison, and people are demanding his release. So we have indigenous people in Africa fighting for their freedom. Now, what is that? Let's get my crazy expressions up here, because sometimes this stuff is just, what do they say? Truth is stranger than fiction. So that is how I feel about some of these atrocities. Okay. Now here we have, I heard about this, the West Papua, this island where 15% of the population has already been killed by Muslims, and their government has been trying to wipe them out for a very, very, very long time. And these are things you don't hear about in the news. That's why I was so surprised that I got them all in my Facebook timeline, like all this week. Here's another one. In Peru, topless woman clashed with police in Peru because there's this family from Japan from 1990 to 2000 something or other. He murdered 250,000 indigenous women and forced sterilization on countless others. And all of his policies have been to murder indigenous women. And now he's been in prison for 25 years for corruption, and now his daughter is running. And they're protesting. They're protesting a new abortion law, something about if they don't become Christians or whatever, I can't remember the details, they have to get an abortion. Then we have this brother in the Amazon in Ecuador. You know, it's like one of the last indigenous tribes, really, and they're saying, look, China is just messing up. They don't want to deal with you all. They're willing to set up a community so people not from the tribe can come and see how the people live, but they don't want to have anything to do with the deforestation that's been going on. So I just see a trend with and here's another thing going on with Nigeria. 200 Zimbabwe women on death row in China after being duped by their Nigerian boyfriends. They were pretty much sold into trafficking, and they were trying to have them smuggle drugs and things across that they didn't know about, and then when they get to China, they go through customs, they get in all this trouble, and then they're sold into slavery. So yeah, and then there's another fascinating issue. An indigenous man in Australia who's playing the guitar like a kora, right? And of course, if he was playing the kora, it wouldn't be a big deal, but since he's playing it on the guitar, and then I'm going really fast here, but these are some of the things I wanted to talk about here. Now Melanie was supposed to be on the call tonight. I was hoping she would talk about this some more. Over in Belize, the Guatemalan people have sided with the European governments, and now there's like a war going on the border. Why? Because in Belize, they've uncovered, some college kid from Canada uncovered some Mayan ruins, and then the Canadian government wants to control it. So now they're siding with the people in Guatemala, and they started this war to draw our attention away from these findings. And this is what's going on the border. And so they're blaming the death of a 13-year-old whose family was illegally farming in Belizean land. You know, when the soldiers came up, when the farmers came up to see what's going on, the soldiers fired at the farmers, and the farmers shot back, and this little boy was killed. And so now they started a war. So this is the kind of ridiculous things that we're dealing with, since Ra and the sun, Ra and Set, were opposites. Okay. And then I found this document here about some slave owner that didn't want to cut off his slave's feet and hands for running. So he came up with this device that would impair him so that he'd never be able to walk or run again, where he'd literally change his leg to a collar around his neck for like 5 years. So these are some of, and so the post that I posted this morning, I checked in with my, guides, and they said to post it, and it's not here now. So, like I said, I'm going to find it again and post it without so much emotion. I checked it with my ancestors, and they said to post it, but anyway. So these are all things. Oh, and then here, remember the Sankofa step for tonight is building esteem. Here's a beautiful video by, I don't know who made the video, but it shows a lot of powerful black women in the media to one of Janet Jackson's. I could have been playing the, I can play the music. Let's see. No. Is it? Let's see.
More clearly, you touch your arm, you never you
yeah, well, if you get a chance to check this out, it's posted on my personal Facebook page, and it's really inspiring. Again, this episode is about building esteem. And so that was like my teaching segment for today. So, okay. So when I read news, events like this, it really builds my confidence and self-esteem and my passion for my work and people in my community. But when other people see those type of articles, they shut down, you know, like, and I've had to cut out a lot of people in my life that don't resonate with the truth the way that I do. Like, my brother and I, we still aren't talking. He's still waiting for an apology for me speaking my truth, and I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not backing down. So that's that. Okay. Let's get back to the presentation. Sankofa step 5, build esteem, healthy and accurate. The imagery here is the bird who has, you know, she's got an egg and she's putting it back into her system. So, or is she pulling it out? You know, the idea is it's okay to go back and learn from our history, from our experiences, from the ancestors, even from our quote-unquote mistakes, because there are no mistakes, right? There's just lessons. And, you know, to build our esteem, healthy and accurate, means we have to let go of all the conditioning that we have been subjected to. And just as I'm noticing more and more indigenous people, or I don't know why that happened to me this week, why all of a sudden I got all this information on indigenous people standing up and being heard. After a point, it's like, okay, it's either us or them that's going to be at peace in the world. It's either us or them that's going to have happiness, because we're not. I don't see how we can unite at this point in time. I'm talking about the oppressors or the descendants of the oppressors who are still living in that lifestyle. I mean, just because I express my love for truth and my love for African redemption and indigenous rights, it doesn't mean I don't have love for my European brothers and sisters. Of course I do. We're human beings. But just because I love them doesn't mean I agree with them, and just because I don't agree with them doesn't mean I'm going to be silent. Everything that they put out in the world perpetuates their religion and their values and their ideals and their ways of life. But they don't go around calling it white supremacist. They don't call it that. They don't call it white culture. They call it American culture, which it isn't. But when we do the same thing, when we say, oh, we don't want to have Thanksgiving, or we don't want to do Christmas, or, you know, whatever, then we're considered to be anti-family or anti-this or that. So, you know, there's a huge division in this country, and I don't see why it has to be us that's always willing to go over the fence. We all need to come to the fence and break down the fence. That's the only way we're going to be able to build healthy and accurate esteem, because it has to be based on our experiences. It has to be based on our lifestyle. It has to be based on our history. And if it's based on theirs, then it's not going to be accurate esteem. So that's me going off on why I posted what I did this morning. And like I said, I'm going to look for that video again, because who knows, they might have taken the video down, because what happened was at the end, towards the end, when let me put the camera back on. What happened was at the end, you know, after they had tricked the natives into becoming their slaves, well, what did they do? They killed their slave masters and ran, all of them. And of course, the Europeans had dogs and tracked them down, and so they caught them. and they put the leaders up to burn them at the stake. And when they started burning the fires, the leaders started chanting in their native language, never, do not make a mistake of trusting Christians. And so I put that in quote marks in my post, and I said, and I'll add to that, no matter what color they are or where they come from. And then I went on to discuss why. So that is why my post was probably removed, because I'm building my esteem, and it is healthy and it is accurate. And I'm not backing down. I was like, why am I even posting on Facebook anyway? But because that's where people are. And I like sharing truth, and I like learning truth. I mean, I found all these posts on Facebook, so that's obviously why I'm on Facebook. Okay. Timid Charles applications. So we're going to be focusing on Ra and Het in Apis, which is the Sun and Venus. And we're going to be focusing on Set or Mars in Libra, which is Ma'at. Okay? So that's what we're going to be working on with the applications. And we're going to do the same, rundown that we do every week. Although this time it won't be so fiery, because we won't have this opposition like we did last week. Oh, looks like something weird happened to my computer. Yeah. See if I can get you back. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to move over to the other part of the tuning forks, and we're going to use that beautiful song by Janet Jackson as our invocation for this evening. Maybe I'll do a little bit of the goddess chant, since we have Ma'at and Het to honor. I don't know why this photo thing keeps popping up, and I don't know where the this thing went, but here it comes again. Okay. Build esteem, healthy and accurate. Healthy esteem is a reflection of what you have contributed and the awareness of your contribution. Okay, yeah, so at this moment I'm going to sing the goddess chant, because, we all have the goddess within us. And when we honor our ancestors, we honor the divine, we're awakening their abilities and powers within us. So, like, for instance, when we invoke Het, we're waking up the power of love and the beauty path inside of us. And they say that just by chanting all the names of the goddesses, like I'm about to do, you invoke all of their powers and strengths. And we're also, expressing awareness of the contributions of all the female warriors, mothers, teachers, priestesses, healers, midwives, doulas, housekeepers, child care providers, all of those things that only women can do the way women do. Yes, men can cook, men can take care of the house, men can take care of the children, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. And there's certain things that men do that only men can do the way they do them. Yes, women can, drive a bus or et cetera, et cetera. But you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't need to go into detail. Okay, so let me back up. Let me see if there's any comments or questions. Not yet. I don't think she's on the phone. I've had a lot of internet challenges, so I'm looking forward to catching up on all my correspondence in the near future. Like this one. Hesitate, amen, take a bedroom, take up, take a bed, Conrad Boston, Conrad Boston, Conrad Boston, Conrad Boston. So I think this week, since I was dealing with a lot of rage, like when I was watching that video that I was telling you about with the tribe, I was just screaming. I was just going, ah! Wow. Okay, I'm going to have to take this phone off because it's messing up everything. Okay, sorry about that. I was screaming and I was yelling and I was really upset. Like, I was very upset. Like that. And it felt good to get that energy out, you know, because I totally related and I totally identified. And that's sound healing, you know. Yeah, I once took this workshop by the godmother of sound healing, Linda Dobbs, and that's what she did. She taught us how to give our emotions a sound so they could express themselves, and that is a way to release, like, really toxic emotions. That's all I could do, because you knew exactly what was going to happen next. At every step along the way, you knew that eventually that one of these brothers was going to say, and what happens if we don't? And then you knew it was on. So sometimes that's really all you can do is scream. And that's perfectly acceptable form of sound healing, as long as you don't hurt yourself or hurt anyone else, of course. Okay? Now let's see if I can, I don't know. Wait, that's the wrong button. I'm glad I didn't disconnect. Oh, God. There we go. Rage and terror are always present. The kidney and bladder meridians mediate the freeze response and our sense of safety. So this is the ones where people just freeze. You know, when you're so angry and you don't know what to do. Like in the scene, there was one scene when they knew they had to run, and the lady was like, I can't leave right now. I have to nurse my baby. And Brother Man's like, look, we need to go now. You know. So I thought that was kind of a good scene. Gift of dissociation is when you just, you know, flight. You just, it's not happening. You're not into it. This is the one I was talking about, fight, when you want to fight. So sometimes, though, you need to fight, and so I don't think this was the one. I think this one is the one where rage and terror are always present, and then some people are so angry or so overwhelmed or emotional that you just shut down. Like, I was talking to one of my friends the other day, when she gets home from work and she's so stressed out from work, all she can do is turn on the TV until she falls asleep. That's kind of like, that's both. That's freezing and dissociation. I don't know what that noise is. So we're going to do the, well, we're not going to do the bladder meridian, obviously, because that's at the back. But we're going to do the kidney meridian. That's my pen. So like right now, I'm writing out my prescription. So we're going to do the kidney meridian. And we always do the kidney points when we do the three treasures. Healthy and accurate. Okay, so these are some of the choices. We had the Ra and Hetaru, and now they're both in Apis, Taurus. And we have Mars, which is now in the Libra, which is also ruled by Venus, Hetaru. So that's all like really resonating. Now we have Mars and Venus, which is a really powerful, peaceful combination. We have, well, let me just get on with the camera. I don't need to have that separate. I'm ready for my healing session. Okay, so I'm going to come back to the liver, and I'm going to start with the three treasures. Where's the camera? Okay. All right, so, and as I always state, even if you do not have your tuning forks, or you don't have tuning forks, you can do Raseki, you can use crystals, stones, you can use just your voice, like just direct the sound of your voice with your intention. You can use visualization or meditation. My tool of preference, my tool of choice is the tuning forks. But this self-care healing system, you know, is not limited to the tuning forks. It features the tuning forks. Okay? So we always start on the ankles. And I have another camera, but I haven't figured out how I'm going to rig it. I think I need to have like 2 computers. So for now, we just have to make do with them. So when you're doing self-care, you can put one on the bottom of the foot and one on the ankle. You can do that when you're seeing clients too. I was just making a point. And you wait until the fork dies out, the vibration dies out. And yes, my socks don't match. It's a long day, but at least they're clean. And then you do whatever you do on one side, you do on the other side. Even if you're doing a meridian and you only have one organ, like the heart, you still do both sides of the body. It's very important. It's all about balance, symmetry, harmony. All right. Then we're going to go to the kidney point, which is good because that's one of the things we're focusing on. Heart. So we're basically doing the same protocol, but the intention is different because the planetary energy has shifted. And instead of being at conflict and combatant, we're dealing with peace and harmony. And so this is going to determine the week that we have. Or the day, if you could do it every day. Now I was doing a video last week, and so my tuning forks are in total APEP chaos. Okay, so I'm going to start with Ra and Heru, the 3 treasures. Remember, this is to build, esteem, healthy, and accurate in alignment with the planetary activities that's going on right now. So this is about creating a path of beauty for our life, creating a path of abundance, creating a path of joy, a life filled with joy. Right now we're eliminating blocks to this manifestation. We're opening up our creativity and our purpose and aligning it with our beauty path. And then also the 3rd chakra for building our self-esteem. All right. And then also we're going to do, we have Set or Mars in Libra or Ma'at. And so we have this balance of the male-female energies, right? So we're going to do the root chakra, the womb chakra, kidney point, the heart chakra. This side. Let's go to the pineal gland. And here's for, the force, the direction of our life being the direction of Ma'at. Like that's the whole point of our life, is not. This is for me. All right, and then the third chakra, we're building our self-esteem. Healthy and accurate, balanced, a peaceful warrior. I'll be in a yoga pose, but if it's time to fight, I'm ready. Now that's my goal anyway. I'll be ready. And that usually means battling my ego, battling negativity, battling the urge to react with fire. Gotta remember to pull back with Heru. And then we have the moon, which is still full, I think, and Amun, or Jupiter. So this is one of those moments when I was telling you my forks are like out of control. See, maybe this is it. Yes, okay. And then we have Moon and Jupiter. Going to do the heart. I'm going to do my throat. I speak with the wisdom of Amun, witnessing consciousness of the universe, and Obatala, right? Ma'at. See the wisdom. The powerful self-esteem, healthy and accurate. Right? I have this one too. The Asar pose. All right, now we're going to do the meridian. Oh, I said the kidney meridian, right? All right. Let's go to this chart. I like my charts better because that's what I'm used to. And I know them, but I don't use it enough, so I don't trust my, I always like, it's this, and then I have to go look at it anyway, because I'm not working as much as I would like. Let's put it that way. Okay, so the kidney meridian, it starts on the foot, starts on the ball of the foot, goes on the outside of the ankle, inside the ankle, and then up the leg, and it stops right below your okay. And remember, you're going to do both sides. So you can just, move your hands along if you're doing Raseki or your crystals or whatever you're going to use. What's this one? I am mediating the freeze response and our sense of safety. So yes, rage and terror are always present. And I want to be able to respond truthfully and with no fear. That's my plan. Truthfully and with no fear of speaking my truth. Because rage and terror are always present. And we've learned how to just act like they're not. And then when we act like they're not, we're called crazy. But rage and terror are right outside the door. On the TV. Read the news. The cops could stop you for your tail light being out. There's rage and terror right there. So it is always present. But we have to be able to not freeze up when it happens. So we're releasing that right now by working on this kidney meridian. So to open up the flow, I'm going to go with the forks associated with water in the flow. So I've got, and this is a good fork dealing with trauma, the Sedna fork and the Anpu fork. O Anpu, opener of the waves, opener of the waves. Remove obstacles to our success. Okay, so I'm going to start with the ball of my foot. My phone. It goes all around the ball like a little loop-to-loop. And then up the side of the inside of the leg. is how I do it. I'm sure other practitioners have their own ways of doing it, but this is how I do it. And even when you come in for treatment, I go along the meridian. I don't just do points. I go all along the meridian. And it comes up in front of the body, and then veers like right around there, right below the nipple. And then do on the other side. Like you could be like completely stressed out at work and, you know, just sit quietly in the cafeteria and just, you know, maybe you're on the cafeteria table, just give yourself a little massage or just a sweep. Just sweep it up. And that, you know, you could just sweep it up and that, and then release. There's lots of things you can do. The main thing is to be aware of what meridians are good for what and what is your intention. But personally, I think the sound is just the way to go. Inside of the leg, up the side, up the front of the body. Just like the little diagram. And veer over to the side and right. I need to go up further, but okay. Whew, I'm getting hot. Here. No. Okay, so that is to help, you know, remove the tendency to become silent or freeze up. Like I used to. Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna go there. And let's see, another one dealing with flow. That would be, oh, Neptune. That's a good one. Neptune, it heteroscopes and chematones represents Nebuchadnezzar, the sister of Aset, the goddess of the spiritual incarnating into the physical realm. So, and some teachers look down on this energy, say that we should only deal with the spiritual and not be attached to the physical realm. Ooh, physical realm. I'm the type of person that I'm aware of the spiritual realm, but I also need to be aware of the physical realm. Like, for instance, I'm a person that broke her toe twice in her house. And so I need to be more, you know, in tune with what's going on here and up in the cosmos. And Nebuchadnezzar is the vessel. You know, she represents the container that holds the water, that holds the emotions. So I work with Nebuchadnezzar's energy, and so I'm happy to be doing this. So we have Nebuchadnezzar and the full moon, you know, Jehuti or Obatala. So I'm just going to do the same thing. Up the kidney meridian to help release the healthy flow of my emotions, which will lead to a healthy, healthy and accurate esteem. That's the intention. Maybe this will help me. I have been needing to write about the experiences that happened. I don't know if you're following any of my newsletters, but in March, after I got back from Jamaica, I was so happy. Like, not just about things that were happening in my life, but I was just abiding happiness. And then, like, the next day, the roof collapsed in my apartment building in Chicago. And things have been happening so much, I haven't been able to write and share with my, you know, community. And I have a block. And I really need to get it. I need to process. And I'm hoping that this work is going to help me calm down and get a better grip on my emotions, because they're all over the place. I'm like really happy and then emotional and angry and then scared and then terrified and then ready to kill somebody and then, you know, forgiving and compassionate and, you know, just like everywhere. And I just want to stay centered and focused on my purpose, which is, by the way, in addition to Nihas, that's my personal and what I hope for everyone, but I'm really going for African redemption and Native indigenous sovereignty. And that is my purpose. And if it doesn't deal with that, then I've had to let it go. All right, so what are we doing with time? Because I'm really rambling here. Okay. And the computer's not plugged in, so the battery's about to die. Ha ha! That's here. Okay. Alright, so then the next step is the extraordinary vessels. Healthy and accurate. I think I'm going to do a little bit more work on my my mind, my brain, because in order to have healthy and accurate self-esteem, you have to have healthy and accurate thoughts. So let's do some of that. I'm just using a big fork today for some reason. Really like working on the pineal gland. The tones sound really good in my ears coming from the back of my head. I can't describe it, but I really like it. Yes, no more Mars-Sun opposition today. Woo! I didn't know how long that was going to last. You know, I didn't want to know. I'm so glad that it shifted. I mean, I felt the shift, you know, in my own life. So I was really happy about that. This one feels good. Okay, so now the extraordinary vessels. Last week we did Chan and Yin Wei. I think today, yeah, I'm going to go with the same one, Chang and Yin Wei. It's a lot of feminine energy. The Chang, no, let me get the bigger chart. And, you know, Mercury retrograde ended 2 days ago, and that also shifted a lot of things. And even though my website is not up yet, at least I know why it's not up, and I know how to fix it. And that happened like the day that it went direct. Okay, so the Chang is the one that goes on the inside of the foot and inside of the hand. I'm going to start on I'm going to start on my left hand and end on my right. My right. No, I'm confused. On my right foot. Yeah, okay. May we all find a way to use our creativity to stay on the beauty path. To create abundance and health and protection for ourselves, our families, our communities, our nations, for the indigenous people around the world, even indigenous people in a land that's called Nigeria, fighting against the Nigerians who are obviously backed by a corrupt regime. And to all the indigenous people in Africa that are going to have to fight off China when China goes crazy. And then balance. And as the people in the leaves are able to find the strength to fight off their own brothers and sisters right across the border over greed from some things found in a pyramid. That is so depressing. But I'm sure that's how some of these things get started. This is for the flow of wisdom, the ability to travel freely. You know, don't ever say you're driving, because that means you're working and getting money. So you travel. And then the other one I chose is the yin wave. Wait, change. Yeah, which is the opposite. Can you see that? The hand first and then the foot, but it's the same point. I'm going to do the other side. And I'm going to switch up some of the parts. I'm not going to use the same. I'm going to use Chiron and Sedna. Now you could do the same side because you're switching from hand to foot to hand, but I'm going to switch sides. Okay, I think I did switch sides already. Yeah, I did. I did that one first. Now I'm going to do this one. Yeah, I switched them up already. So now I'm going to do the foot first and then the hand. It's easy to get mixed up, but it's okay. You really can't make a mistake. You can't really hurt anyone. Obviously, when something like this happens, it's the spirit that's taken over, and you just follow the spirit. So even though I thought I was doing the Chong the first time, I actually did the Yin Wei the first time. And now I'm going to do the Chong. I don't know. So this is Chiron and Sedna. Let me do it again. Yeah, I wanted to start on the left side, and that's how I got mixed up. But it worked out anyway because I started on the left side. See? And top art. Yeah, I didn't do top art today. Let's do some top art. Great. Art. And yeah. I told you it was a mess. Okay, we'll just go with this. Is that it? Okay, we're going to go with this. Sorry. Apologize for APAP. Kind of like having reflection on the week before and then the one, tonight. I'm going to have to see how the scheduling goes, but I think that's a good thing so that I can talk about what the results were from the previous week because I'm definitely feeling something. Okay, and so now we just move to the higher frequency forks, which are so much fun. Do the whole thing. We're going up to block and coming down to manifest. So I'm moving block to my abundance, to my nurturing, self-nurturing, moving blocks to my prosperity. When I come down, I'm raining prosperity and abundance. It's flowing all around me. So that's what I visualize. And then we're going to do the balance. Male and female balance. Mars is in Libra. We have Set that is protecting and defending Ma'at. Set is upholding Ma'at. Removing any blocks to Ma'at, and now we're using that strength and that power to manifest Ma'at in our world. In our sight, in our speech, our heart, and our manifestation. And also with the sun, this is like a big day for Venus, huh? Yes, I do. Also, when I use the combination with Venus and Mars, like I just did, that reminds me of the stories of the relationship between Haru and Sekhmet. The balance to be successful. Yeah, healing. I'll top it off with the goddesses. You see the wings. You hear the wings flapping. And sit for a moment. All right. It's very good. It feels very good. Looks like we have a new guest. Thank you for joining us. And I will be posting the replay. I apologize, the other ones aren't up yet, but they'll be up very soon. Okay, and then this quote by Dr. Joy. Healthy self... Let me get my glasses. Strange angle. So, healthy esteem is a reflection of what you have contributed and the awareness of your contribution. So we're dealing with post-traumatic slave syndrome. So with the with the Kemet practice, when you say, for instance, if you say Nuku Asar, I am Asar, you're saying that everything Asar has gone through in the myths and the legends and the scriptures and the pyramids is everything that you've gone through. Because you are Asar. Asar lives in us. Same thing with our ancestors. Everything that happened to them, you know, it happened to us. If we're separating it, then we're not being authentic. So, the healthy esteem is a reflection of what you have contributed, and this awareness, the awareness of your contribution. Last week, one of the participants commented that the reason that people have, our nation as a whole has low esteem. My question was, how can we have such low esteem when we have contributed so much? And her answer was, well, we've been brainwashed. People have been brainwashed. And so that's kind of why I wanted to spend some more time with this week, because of all the things that happened during the week that shifted for me. And some of the information that I shared earlier in this session, it's shifting for Indigenous people around the world. So we just have to continue to raise the awareness of our contribution, which is why I post those kind of stories on Facebook, so that we can raise the awareness of the contribution that Indigenous people are still making. Indigenous people in Nigeria are fighting their own government. And that's not just happening in Nigeria. It's like Indigenous people are fighting for freedom around the world, and it's not getting media attention. So I'm rambling. The purpose of this week's episode was to build esteem that is healthy and accurate based on the awareness of our contributions and the awareness of our contributions that our ancestors have made and our descendants are still making. So that was my focus for this presentation. Now here I have an offering, but I want to show you something else that I'm working on. I'm very excited about it. And I was hoping it would have been ready today, but it's not ready yet. But I'm going to show it to you now. I think I told you when I was in Chicago, I wrote a song about my experiences going to court, and that we were able to, I went to court, and I told you so. I sang the song outside the courtroom, and the musician was there with the studio. I recorded the song. So now I'm starting another fundraiser. We got an extension. We went to court. I've battled with the mortgage companies. I'm getting ready to write about all of this because it's so much that I feel like, even though this is just an apartment building in Chicago, it's been in my family for so long. This is almost like our homeland. It is our homeland. And we're a Black Indigenous matriarch fighting the government for our homeland. It's like so powerful. So anyway, I have this website here I built where you click on this green button. Let's go down. It's about my grandparents. It tells a little bit about the story. It's got a picture of me and Yuvia. And I'm asking you to please share this with your community. We got a loan and everything, but we got an extension which cost another $3,000. So now we owe $23,000. And we have a loan, and the insurance check is coming, all this other stuff, but we still need some little help. So you click on the green button, and then let's see what happens. Well, anyway, you can make a donation to PayPal, and then you click on the other button, and you can download the song. Yeah, see there, you can make your donation. And I would appreciate it if you could share this with your community. I recorded a music video in my backyard, and my editor is putting it together right now. And my cousin, the one who I told you made that TV show about Chirac, and then Spike Lee stole the name and made that ridiculous Greek tragedy. Well, my cousin, Noel Akami, is still filming his TV show, and so I asked him to give me some footage to put in at the end of the video. And he told me that on YouTube, if your video gets 1 million hits, they'll pay you $6,000. So when the video is ready, my goal is 1 million hits. And the way I've been manifesting, I am confident, meaning I'm putting my trust in my higher self, in the divine, that I'm going to come up with 1 million hits on YouTube with my video. And I'm going to sing part of the song to you right now, because this has all been about building my esteem, healthy and accurate. I'm not afraid to tell my story. At first I was afraid to sing the song in public. I thought I was just going to sing it for myself. And then one day I got to sing it for the squatters while they were leaving the apartment building. And that's when it was over. I was so empowered by that. Let's see, I don't have a trap. If I can remember it. 3 weeks behind in rent. Came home with a brand new car. Had the nerve to ask how your money would be spent. How did I let things get this far? Just 'cause I'm a landlord don't mean I made up money. Expected you to honor your word. This is the land of milk and honey. Black on black crime, that always with a gun. Black on black crime, like negativity between father and son. Black on black crime, when you withhold your rent. Black on black crime, feel so violent. All right, do thanks. Yeah, it's a very powerful song. It's the first time that I wrote a song dealing with my emotions and my feelings about my experience. So far, all my songs have been about the teachings or giving thanks and praise or, you know, something about history or politics. But never have I tapped into my emotions like this. And once again, I'm just going to say I really feel that this work that I've been doing with this protocol has contributed to my ascension or further levels of enlightenment or courage to speak my truth. Yeah. So it is around time, yes, 6:30. So we're going to transition into the meditation. I don't know if anyone has any questions or comments. I certainly appreciate you being here because I would still do these even if you weren't, but the energy would not be quite the same. And I know people do watch the replays. So trying to be consistent with the weekly schedule, but sometimes things happen. And so I think I had said something about the bull. Yeah, riding the bull. So let's get comfortable. You have the crystal pyramid. And look at these bowls. Right? No, I'm not going to turn out the light. Oh, there's a comment. I thought she was on the phone. Oh, do it for attending, Vasu Rhonda. Do it. And people are watching the replay, so you don't have to feel sorry for me. All right. Let me do the light out. Let's see if I get a candle. Oh, it didn't. Too bad. See the candle. There we go. Right. This is a little bit better too. I invite you to get into a comfortable seated position. either on the floor with your legs crossed in a lotus posture, or in a chair with your back straight and feet firmly planted on the ground. I'm in a chair, so I need to see that myself. All right, let's take a few deep breaths together. And as you inhale, slowly close your eyes. Inhale deeply. Allowing your abdominal area to expand, your chest area to expand, and all the way to the crown chakra. Hold it for a moment. And release and exhale, letting go of tension, doubt, and negativity. Another deep inhalation. Inhale. And exhale. Return to normal breathing. I invite you to visualize yourself in an astral body. Your body is made of pure light. You are seated on a lotus flower that is currently floating through space. You're whirling past the stars. Your consciousness, your awareness, even your breath, your sound, all of your senses are pure light, nothing but light. Inhale light, and you exhale light, and so it goes. And the lotus flower is floating through the astral plane, gently begins to ascend. Slowly drifting, spiraling down through the stars and cosmic dust, past the asteroids, and as it gets closer and closer to the earth, something in you begins to shift. Now, instead of breathing air and breathing light, you begin to breathe air. You're still in the astral plane, still in the stars, just slowly descending to earth in a spiral. And it gets closer and closer to the earth, your astral body. First it turns into water, and then it turns into a physical body. Still remembering your origin in the astral plane. your consciousness. As the flower begins, seems like it's going to just land on the earth. It is suddenly transformed into a wild bull. And you are still seated on this bull. And you realize you are no longer a star being. You are a human being. And as the bull thinks it's going to crash into the ground, it just slows down and begins to walk upon the earth. And you are seated on the bull. And the bull takes you on a beautiful walk through a garden with luscious flowers and fruit. And the bull stops. You step onto the bull. And you step into your abundance. You have manifested your abundance. You were in the stars. You made your transformation. You step into your abundance. And the source of this abundance is not of the earth. It is your birthright. And nothing can take this away from you. All that can be taken from you is your awareness of your origin and the awareness of your abundance. The bull of Amenta has brought you from the astral plane to the physical plane, and it's always with you. The bull of Amenta is none other than a star. Look a star. I am the source of my abundance. I manifested my abundance with the divine. The divine is the source of my supply. The divine is the source of my abundance. The divine is the source of my freedom. Nothing on earth can take this away from me. Om Hateh, 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 Hateh. Peace, 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 peace. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed this meditation as much as I have. It's always a journey. And thank you for joining me this evening. My internet is working again, so I will be posting the replays from the past 3 sessions as well as this one. And we'll be back next week with Sankofa Step 6. Please look out for the announcement about the new song, Can It Burn? And if you have any questions or comments, I will go to the discussion group this week. I didn't make it there last week, but I will be there this week. Once again, Dua, thank you for joining me on Tachia Ahmet with Kim Jones. Let me get some light back. There we go. Once again, I'm Tachia Ahmet here with Kim Jones Self-Care Sound Healing Webinar Series on Healing Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome with Sound. Attack.